And welcome everybody to the PCS Like a Pro show. I'm your host, Megan Harless, and we've got a really great show for you today. But before that, I just want to remind folks that we've seen a lot of issues with folks having trouble with DPS lately, trying to log into DPS, whether it's to set up their move, whether it's to be able to go in and do their claim. And if that is you, don't forget that the DPS help desk is there to help you through that process. And so you can go on to Military One Source and find the DPS help desk number and give them a call. They are really great at walking you through what those issues are to get you into the system. That's all I've got for that right now. So we're going to go ahead and just dive into today because I'm really excited about go out. Did my microphone go out on me?
It did.
We're back. So we are here today with Sean Krish from Trunk Move. Sean, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So right now I'm making a career in containerization and transportation. Before that, I got my licks doing logistics for film and international TV documentaries. So I was part of the producing team, and part of my responsibility was to get everything from the personal effects to very valuable and expensive film equipment through customs wherever we were going. So I quickly became very adept at um, meeting with customs and going through either carnets or packing lists and all kinds of stuff. And then also very adept at telling crew members, like, yeah, I know you got this in this country and you want to, let's just ship it from this country back home. Don't carry it in your baggage. Oh.
So tell us, what is Trunk Moves?
To tell the trunk move, to explain trunk moves, I'd have to explain that our parent company, which is called Kubox, and we manufacture the trunk container as well as a number of other containers um, in Nashville, Tennessee. And so the container that we build, the best way to put it and easily to remember, is it is as strong as a wood crate, as light as paper, and designed for reuse. Um, our containers actually won the DuPont Award for innovation and sustainability because of the reusability and simplicity. It takes like 3 minutes. Well, actually, Megan, you did it. You played with the container, so it takes literally a few minutes to put it together, and however long you want to take to pack it. Um, but the Coup box is so it's won an award. It's patented. It's actually also in all of the innovation centers for DHL globally. So they're presenting our container to the many customers, manufacturers, and things. Um, Trunk moves is simply taking one standard size container that holds about 2.5 suitcases worth of stuff, 110 pounds of your things, and we combine that with the transportation. So, kind of like e-commerce, you come online and you book however many trunks you want to use. They're yours to keep, by the way. We fulfill them from Nashville, Tennessee. They get sent to your house in a near prime Amazon Prime experience. So 2 to 3 days to major metro. If you're living really far up in the state of Washington, it might take four business days to get to you. You get your trunk, you start packing it, and we've combined now the transportation. So we actually send the carrier, which is parcel. So depending if you're going international or domestic, domestically we use UPS. So UPS comes to your threshold door and picks up your packed container, and 3 to 9 business days later, it arrives at your new home. And that is both domestically and internationally. So we've combined the what keeps your stuff safe, what is reusable,
Mhm.
um, and and the transportation solution. So you don't have to go drop it off at a UPS store or a DHL. We send the carrier directly to you.
Yeah. So as John mentioned, I got one of these trunks and I got to play around with it and experience putting it together, packing it, testing out the durability and the strength of it. And I've dropped into the comments my link to the YouTube video that I created with it. So you can go in there and you can take a look at it and see how it comes packaged, putting it together. I was highly impressed with it. It really is a neat concept to receive this this trunk that's all folded up and packed together and then easily putting it up, being able to pack it. My kids jumped on it and played on it, you know, being able to test that durability and that strength of it. So it really is a super neat concept. And you really already answered the second question I had, talking about how a customer utilizes one. So looking domestically, you know, the trunk on the website right now is $389. And so as a military family, that's always like, we always look at the cost versus what it gets me. So how does that cost compare to other shippers like the regular post office or other ones out there when shipping something of like the similar um, size and weight compared to shipping a trunk?
Yeah. So I'm going to throw in another variable in that.
Mhm,
So 389, if you had a container that with a total weight, gross weight of 130 pounds, because the trunk weighs 20
mhm,
and your stuff can weigh up to 110. Price wise, it is very comparable, a little bit perhaps less depending on the distance you're traveling
mhm,
through UPS. So if you actually had a container that would make it through the UPS parcel system or DHL, but UPS for domestic, um, you would have the regular price. Then you would have a extra large handling, and then and a heavyweight rate that you would be paying. So with us, you're less. Plus, you get the container. Um, the real magic, Megan, I believe, comes when you reuse it,
mhm,
where it becomes dramatically less expensive. So for each container, we give an additional $25 discount, $60 discount for reuse. Because we're this regenerative company, we try to get rid of waste, whether it's our customers' waste of time or waste of money or just materials. So to answer your question, as a side by side, we do really well. The variable that we toss in that most people don't have access to would be a tested container. You know,
mhm,
cardboard box is fine for card things that are fit for a cardboard box. But if you have anything that is breakable or you want it to arrive at the destination in good shape, at that weight, there's nothing else out there.
mhm.
If you had a Pelican case, you know, like those big poly, they put equipment in it.
Yeah.
It weighs, you know, it could weigh 30 or 40 pounds empty. Um, yeah, but you're paying, you know, $800 for that case. So we represent a really good deal, both through the transportation and for the container.
And I really like that reusable aspect piece to it because it's something that you do have, you can reuse it, you can ship it again, and then you have it for in between those times where you can either keep it put together and store things inside of it, or you can disassemble it and easily store it under a bed or in the corner of a garage or something. Um, then with it, which I think is a really great concept to being able to have something because we know cardboard boxes usually get dented and beat up easily in transport. Um,
And when you hold on to a cardboard box on the if there is a damage event and you're using a reused or a used previously used cardboard box,
mhm,
the insurance carrier has the ability to say, well, I need you to save your packing, and then when you let them know that it's a used box, you may not be protected.
mhm,
For us, because we literally have gone through an independent testing facility, that does the same testing for Dell computers as they ship out all of their computers. So we've got a pedigree there that this thing actually holds up, and each time you reuse it, that pedigree allows us to have that same up to $1,000 value protection every time you use the trunk container versus if it was just a regular cardboard box.
Right. And one of the things that, when me and you spoke about this earlier was being able to use these trunks, for like if an international move and being able to use it for as a substitute kind of to your express household goods shipment, or, you're moving internationally and you don't want to have to take 15 suitcases with you through the airport to get to where you need to go. Plus you have 3 kids, plus you have your 2 pets, and trying to coordinate all of that, like, shuttles can be very exhausting and logistically hard to do. And so, can you talk a little bit about the transit times that you've seen for international moves from where customers have shipped these, and how that can be a benefit to, and also an alternative to that express shipment that a lot of people are waiting on because they've been delayed like regular household goods shipments as well?
Yeah. So let's talk about the delays that
Mhm.
families have experienced, and those are the regular bottlenecks times 1,000, because we are in at this time. Supply chain is strained, ports are strained, the airports are strained.
Mhm.
So by moving through parcel, um, we don't experience those limitations and hazards of shipments getting stuck, either because there's no labor or because whatever's happening, everything's being strained. So we're able to move things really quickly. Example: pick up on Friday of 2 trunks, delivering into the UK Monday. So it was Friday to Monday. Um, uh, Another is four trunk containers, um, picking up in Boston on Friday and delivering cleared in Singapore that Monday. Technically, because of the time change in the time zones, in Singapore time it was picked up on Saturday. So Saturday, Sunday, deliver Monday. For
Mhm.
us, it was because we're a day behind or hours behind. It was Friday to Monday, but that's what we're able to do through this process. For the domestic moves, depending on where you're going, it does travel. We do travel through ground, um, but um, there are some, I don't say liberties that we've designed. We just realities that we've designed into the system. Like for instance, you can have two devices in your shipment that are have lithium ion batteries. A lot of movers, traditional ways of moving things, they don't allow that. We do. It's just a reality. We have some electronic devices that we're not going to carry with us. We want to pack 1 or 2 of them. So duration of time, we always say 3 to 9 business days is the span. For international, obviously, all of your paperwork's got to be ready. That's a key. We do a lot of corporate moves and we do some consumer moves too. The consumers are not always up on having their documentation together. The military people, yeah. The corporates, yeah. But that there can be a time delay in the clearance. Um, but we've never had things like storage occur, while it's waiting to be cleared, which is great about parcel.
Right, right. So we've got a comment here from Nicole wishing she would have known about this sooner because they just recently moved back from overseas and they're still waiting on their household goods. So Nicole, we dropped the link there in the comments. So if you want to take that, share it to your friends that are still Oconus that might be preparing for their own move back, and maybe they can have a little easier time as well. But we've heard about so many delays, whether it's their household goods or their unaccompanied baggage shipment being delayed, the ports, and now the airfields are starting to get a little bit congested as well. Um, You've talked some already about the durability of the trunk and what it's made of and how it can hold up to 110 pounds. One of the things we were talking about it previously that really got me was the structure. I mean, when you think of it being made of cardboard and wood, you may think like this thing really can't hold up that well. As I said, if you go look in the YouTube video link, you'll see that my kids were playing on it and jumping on it, and that it really does hold up. But do you remember what is you told me like how much could be stacked on it and could hold it from all the testing that was done?
Yeah. So, Megan, I don't know if you're a car person, but a few years ago, Fiat, the Italian car
Mhm.
manufacturer, reintroduced the Fiat 500. It's this kind of squat little car, um, but that car can actually sit on an unpacked trunk, and it
Mhm.
won't crush. So 3,500 pounds of what we call dynamic weight, and it can kind of shift.
Mhm.
Um, Static weight, meaning perfectly flat, it's not moving. It's like 5,200 pounds. So when your kids were playing on the trunk, I don't know how much they weigh, but you could stack all of your neighbor kids, in a big tower, and it's not going to crush as long as it doesn't go, above that weight. Um, Internally, I we put weight limits on trunk moves because it's all about being safe and what
Mhm.
can someone safely put in the container. So design wise, that size can actually hold from the top rim around the container 350 pounds. Not a reasonable amount of weight. um, we keyed off of what could somebody push because as you saw this, the container has these little plastic corner pieces.
Mhm.
It makes it really easy to shove, and so shoving 120 130 pounds for somebody, it can be done, and it's safe. You don't have to pick it up, you can just push it.
Mhm.
And so the container can has a lot of strength physically, and it is all paper, by the way. The corner boards are a proprietary design of multi layered paper that's super strong.
Mhm. Yeah, no, absolutely. One of the other features of it that I like, so we think, this trunk, how do you lock it, seal it? How do you ensure your contents, stay in it? The cardboard box, we use paper or we use tape to, seal the box with it. How does this trunk and the design of it help keep your contents secured inside? And I wish I would have brought in the pieces so I could have shown, but can
The
you just talk
pins.
me through how that works?
Yeah. So the trunk container is very integrated. All the parts are important. Uh, the key to keeping it all together and locking it, quote unquote, securing it, is our pins. They're these orange pins. They're about that long, and I had mentioned that there are these plastic hubs that you could shove the trunk easily with. Well,
Mhm,
those plastic hubs actually are the receiving port. There's two ports on each hub that allows you to insert this pin, and the pin acts as an anchor and keeps the hubs and the walls and everything secure. Um, we include this little tool. I think that maybe you saw that, Megan. In essence, it's a divot tool for golf players. It's the same thing. It has two little forks on it, and you
mhm.
put the head of the pin. You just kind of torque it out. You can use a spoon. You could use your fingers.
It's very hard. I attempted to do that, and it was very, very hard to grip it with
If
just
you
one
have long fingernails, you're going to break a nail
yes.
for sure, and it's going to be really uncomfortable to get out. So there's no lock per se, but those pins are locking. Doesn't need a key. You just need to
Mhm,
have the force or a tool to open it up. And the reason, by the way, that we have not ever designed a key system or some sort of permanent lock system into the service is that the reality is that if a shipment goes overseas and customs, or even the U.S. customs for that matter, wants to get into it, they have the right to get into it any way that they want.
Mm-hmm.
We designed this so that here's the opening tool. Use this to pull the pins, pop open the lid, do your inspection, and then it's easy enough. It doesn't. There's no rocket science necessary to figure out. Oh, I just removed these pins. I can just pop them back in.
Right. So again, if you go look at that YouTube link that I posted, everybody, I show what the pins are. I show them being used, putting in, and the tool and how you take them out. It's very easy to use them, but once they are in, they are very hard to take out. And we do have a question here from Georgia. You answered the second half of this, but the first half, what are the dimensions of this trunk that people receive when they want to use one?
Sure. So um, it's delivered to the user, flat packed. So you have to
Mhm.
assemble it, and it's 39 inches long by 23 inches wide, and when it's 7 inches tall. When you assemble it, it becomes 39 by 23 by 18.
Mhm.
And internally, there is enough space for, as I said, 2.5 suitcases. There's a diminishment of about 3 inches on those. If you squared everything off, it would be a diminishment of about 3 inches. So the 39 becomes 36 internally.
Mhm.
The 23 becomes 20, and the 18 becomes 15. There's extra space, but if you squared everything off in the center,
Mhm.
that would be the reduction.
Yeah, and again, if you go look at the video link, I actually brought stuff, like, outside into my driveway doing the video and was packing it where my large suitcase can easily fit in it, and I can add more stuff in around it. It fits camping chairs, with a bunch of more other stuff, and so it actually seems very, very roomy, inside of it. So I was really impressed with how much it could actually, hold and fit. Can you just talk a little bit about, because I think you might have mentioned it briefly, but a little bit about the insurance piece that comes with the trunk when you get it and when you go to ship it?
Sure. So um, in I'm sure you've spoken about insurance on regular moves before, and it's an interesting animal. We actually found we actually found a carrier that insures the container.
Mhm,
And so it's $1,000 of what we call value protection. There is $100 deductible per container. Now, you can, if the value of your goods are greater than 1,000, well, you can add more levels of protection in
mhm,
$1,000 tranches. So, and you do that for like $20 extra. But it was the all of the testing materials, all of the third party testing reports that we gave to the insurance company that allowed them to say, yeah, we're going to cover this. It's also connected to it's our digital platform. You're interacting through this digital platform by making the purchase and making the booking, and actually even creating your pack list
mhm.
through our website, um, and then arranging, of course, the pickup to get the labels. But yeah, the insurance comes with it with no extra charge. If you need more insurance, we can go up to $6,000 per container.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty cool and neat to know, because with what families may be packing into it, needing to know that value if they need to buy that um, extra insurance, and just that it makes the process a little bit more easy with that as well. Not trying to figure out how much more you may need, especially with the regular post office and what their rates may be compared to just utilizing a trunk and having that piece included with it.
Yeah, you had asked me a question earlier, and it was about the postal service, and I
Mhm.
completely jumped immediately to UPS. The postal service will not ship something this heavy and this
Mhm.
big. Period. They won't touch it.
Yeah.
So
So
that's not an option.
right, absolutely. So we've talked about a lot today. Is there anything else about the trunk and trunk moves that we haven't discussed that folks should know about?
Well, okay, so we obviously are in the United States and
Mhm.
we do domestic and outbound international. We're in Canada doing the same thing. We're in the United Kingdom doing the same thing. We're in France and Germany, and we're building out what we call more regions.
Mhm.
So as we grow, we'll just be in more places and available in more places. Europe is definitely a focus. We have some sites in on Singapore in the Asia Pacific, but for now we're really focused on North America and Europe. But it doesn't mean that you can't go to Asia or places in Asia. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. And when you get on to the Trunk Moves website, we've dropped that link in the comments as well. But you can go on there and to get the price for what your trunk will cost. You can put in where you're moving to and from, and it'll give you that information and everything you need to know about that. So, well, I greatly appreciate you being here, John, and for your time today and helping to educate all of us about what Trunk Moves is and how this can be such a beneficial thing for military families to help, work with our household goods shipment or express shipment or even just doing a PPM ourselves. So thank you for your time.
thank you,
And
thank you for
everybody
having
else,
me.
I hope you all have a great day. And don't forget to join us next week. We'll have Chuck White and Dan Bradley from International Association of Movers here to talk about what we've seen this year and looking forward to next year. So y'all have a great day and we'll see you then.